Let's talk the day trading strategy that I would use if I had a smaller account. I understand beginners, people are just getting started in the markets, usually start off with a smaller account. I was no different. And I wanted to just walk you through a step-by-step guide on what I would do if I put myself back into that situation. And then I'll also show you some of my personal results that illustrate that I'm not just talking, well, I think this is how it works, or this should be how it all plays out. No, I want to show you just how much it can work out, and pretty amazingly how it does give you a whole lot more flexibility, and flexibility in regards to the pattern day trading rule, which if you're not familiar with it, the pattern day trading rule is a fantastic, marvelous government regulation that says that, you know what, if you have less than $25,000, we as a government, we don't think you know what you're doing with your own money. So you can only make 3-day trades over a 5-day period. And in other words, it's a very restrictive rule. It does not give you much flexibility at all. And it's just an absolute joke. And I've done plenty of videos where I rant and rave about the stupidity of the rule, but we're gonna set that aside. But this is why it is important and why you need to have an actual strategy if you have a smaller account. Because if you want to trade in the stock market, then yeah, you have that looming pattern day trading rule over you. And I should note, it's got nothing to do with brokers. If you're using a broker in the United States, which is what I would recommend, then yeah, you're gonna have to deal with that rule. But there are workarounds and there are ways to give you flexibility, which is what I'm going to be talking about here. So let's just get right into it. Step number 1 that you need to do is this right here: cash account. Now, when you sign up, if you don't have a brokerage, when you sign up, you're going to be asked the question, do you want a margin account or a cash account? It's got to be a cash account. If you already have a margin account, just get a hold of your broker and change that over to a cash account. But that is step number 1 that needs to be done. You need a cash account. Number 2, we're going to be focusing on options. Well, Clay, those are too complicated. Or wait, what is an option? I'll put a link down below to totally free, but it's a little online video guide that I put together that walks you through the basics of options. So you get to see, you kind of put your foot in the door and realize, okay, yeah, options aren't as bad as I thought they were, because for me, I always thought they were way more complicated than they actually are. Or for those of you that are just thinking, what is an option? Well, that class is going to help you out. Like I said, totally free. I think it's about 30 minutes long, so you can check that out. But regardless, cash account, and then you need to be trading options. And here's why options are important. Is with options, there is a 1-day settlement. Now, what does this matter? Well, within trading, you've got to let the cash work itself through the system. And I'll just leave it at that, but the cash has got to work itself through, which brings up a valid question on your part. Okay, Clay, fine. But how long does it take for the cash to work itself through the system? And that's where it varies. And that's why if you were to have a margin account, well, that's good, because then you don't have to wait for the cash to work itself through the system. But the problem with the margin account is it triggers that pattern day trading rule. And if you have below 25,000, well, that just brings in all the rigid rules. So that's why the margin account works, but it's a give and take, because now you have the problem of the pattern day trading rule. However, if you are using cash, well, you still have settlement rules, but the nice thing about options as opposed to stocks is it's a 1-day settlement, meaning it takes 1 day for the cash to work itself through the system. So if you use $500 on Monday, then that $500 is going to be available to you on Tuesday. So that is why that is very important. The 1-day settlement rule is going to give you, cash right into the next day. And then the next part, and this is just going to be up to you and what the actual size of your account is, but I'm just going to call this the how many stage, because really, how many trades would you like to make? How many trades do you think would best fit into your strategy, into your kind of personality, into your style? And how many you're going to make? Well, that's going to dictate how much money you have, and then it's just going to be determined on, well, how do you arrange things? So what do I mean by arrange things? Well, on the screen here, you can see some of my results from a trade that I made in the options realm. And the number I want you to focus on right now, because we're going to do a little bit of quick math right here, is the $8.40 mark. So $8.40 is what I bought what is known as an option contract for. And the way you do the math is you take that options contract and the price that I paid, and you just multiply it by 100. So in this situation, it was $8.40 So you got to multiply that by 100, meaning I needed $840 cash in my account. So for example's sake, let's say that I was working with a $5,000 account, okay? So $5,000 account, and let me just put that over here. So 5,000, and in fact, let's set that aside. Let me just show you kind of how cool all this is when you see where I sold, you can see that now. Granted, I did buy 2 contracts, so technically speaking, you'd have to multiply this by 2 because it's $840 for every 1 contract. But because I bought 2 contracts, multiply that 2, and that made it $1,680 that I needed in my account. And then when you go through the math and you see where I sold for up over $9 for each one, it ultimately equated to a $255 profit, which is pretty crazy when you think that all I needed was $1,680 to make $255. And then this all was a trade that lasted less than 5 minutes. So options are very powerful in the sense of, again, yeah, only $1,680 was required. I got to trade, make something based on Tesla, a stock, very, very expensive, yet still made $255. So that was how that math all worked out there. But the point here being is you don't need a lot of cash. But because of that one-day cash settlement rule, you can get access to that cash very, very quickly. But for example's sake, let's just take that away. And let's say that you have $5,000 in your account. Well, this one would have been, let's just call it trade number 1. So trade number 1, let's just say you're saying, you know what? I want to do 5 trades every day. That'll fit me, that'll fit the strategy, and that'll fit everything that I want to accomplish. So my question to you is, okay, well, if you have $5,000, how many individual trades can you make? If you want to do 5, what's the max you could put in? Well, you would say, well, $1,000 per trade, right? Because if you have $1,000 and you can make $1K, and if you can make this 5 more times, that's giving you 5 day trades that you can do. And then again, because of the one-day cash settlement, guess what? When the next day comes around, you can do that all over again. Mayor said, no, Clay, I only want to do like 3. Well, then now you know that, well, you could bump each of these up to maybe $1,500 per trade. Maybe you have $10,000. Well, now you could do, technically speaking, you could do 10 $1,000 trades. And as you already saw with that trade I showed you, I mean, you can do very well with less than $1,000 in one options trade. So there's a lot of give and take here, but the idea here is that there is no more of, well, geez, I can't make a bunch of trades. Well, you can. You just have to divide up your capital and realize, well, how much do you want to put in each trade? How much do you have? And that's going to start to tell you, well, how many trades could you make per day? And it could be multiple ones. And don't think that a day trader means you need to be making 20 trades a day. Me personally, I have over the 25,000. So I don't have to worry about the pattern day trading rule. But for me, at most, and this isn't exact, but 3 to 5 would be at most the number of trades I'm making every day. Because my goal is to just get in, make a couple of good trades, put some extra money in my account. If I get up to that $500 amount, I'm very happy. And then I'm just calling it good. But I'm not sitting there in front of my computer all day long making like 30 trades. I understand that can be the impression of how day traders operate and how it all works, but it doesn't need to work that way at all. You can be a day trader by making 2 or 3 or 1 day trade per day, putting some nice cash in your pocket, and then just moving on with your day. I mean, that's, in my opinion, that's the whole draw to it, is the freedom of time. I mean, you don't want to become a day trader so you're chained to your computer for 12 hours a day. I want to do it so I'm looking at my computer for 30 minutes at most, and then I'm moving on. And this is what's going to allow you to do that by giving you plenty of trades. And then the next day, you can just do it over and over. And I'm really just continue to go back to this because that's what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of people say, well, you get around the pattern day trading rule by using a cash account. Well, no, with stocks, you have to wait 2 days for that. So even if this was all be done with stocks and you did this on a Monday, well, you can't do it all again until Wednesday. But with options, 1 day settlement, you can do it the very next day. So as far as this, the third step, how many, that's where it's all going to depend, right? It's all going to depend on, well, how much money do you actually have in your account? How many trades do you want to make? How much money do you want to put in each trade? And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer to any of that. I'm just saying that's where it's going to be very unique to your situation and what you want to accomplish. But what is the universal rule and universal law is that, well, however you determine this, you're going to be able to do that 5 days a week over and over and over again because of that cash settlement rule. on options in a cash account. So that's how I would do it. I would say, how many trades do I want to make? And then I'd start to divvy up my cash like this. So again, if you have $10,000, well, hey, you could technically do even more. Maybe you only have $1,000. That's fine. You're probably going to be doing less, and you'll be putting money or less money in each one, but we all got to start somewhere, and options still will allow you to grow that, maybe not as quickly as if you have more. But the point here being is, with $1,000, you don't have to sit there and worry about not being able to trade as much as you want, because you're going to be able to give yourself some flexibility by crunching these numbers and making this as much as you want. So I just want to. So again, first question mark, once you get down to step 3 is, well, how much money are you working with? Number 2, how many trades do you think you're looking to make? And then right over here, how much money would you ideally want to put in, each trade? So you get those 3 things, and you can start to, manipulate them, mold them, and that'll, paint the picture much clearer about just, how this would all work out for you. And again, don't let options scare you. Click that link down below. Totally free class. It'll get your feet, wet, help you see that, all right, yeah, options are not that bad, or okay, I don't even know what an option is, but now I'm understanding how they work. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this has kind of opened your eyes to seeing a strategy that you could use out there to start to trade as much as you want with a smaller account, and then ideally grow the small account. So if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, leave a comment down below, then also check out the channel as a whole. If you like what you see, I would love to have you as a subscriber to the channel. But thanks for hanging out, and yeah, get out there, start to do some number crunching. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only 1 losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.